Good evening, everyone. Hey, it's Linda Anderson here from Linda Lou Creates, and thanks for joining me. I have a quick and simple, once you have all the scoring figured out, you'll be able to make a lot of these quickly. These treat holders, and actually it is a tea bag holder and a cookie holder. So you get two treats in one, I guess. Now, you could probably put a second tea bag here on the front, but I opted to make a little note card then instead for the recipient. I thought they would enjoy a little, Happy Christmas card. Now, this is the 3x3, and I hope you're sitting down for this, but I don't have any envelopes to go with the 3x3 cards. So that's something I'm going to have to put in my next order, and then I'll be able to have that. But the card itself, I mean, we're talking it is 6 inches long, 3 inches wide, and then you score it down the center at 3 inches. So that the card itself, super simple. I just don't have any envelopes, but that'll come. That will come. So the paper I've used here is the painted Christmas, I believe is what it's called, paper. And as far as the note card goes, I have used the Christmas season stamp set. And for the sentiment, I went with the words of cheer. So I want to go ahead and get going on the bag. All right, let's do that first. So, are you ready? I will have all the measurements and everything out on my blog. I just haven't done it yet. Been trying to get some house cleaning done and some organization of my stamps and such. I'm not very good at it, so that's kind of been taking a lot of my time. But anyway, I'm going to use a different piece of the design of the painted Christmas paper. So this is actually 12 inches by 8.5. So you just take your 12 by 12 sheet, cut off 3.5 inches, you're good to go. I tried to make sure that I had one that the pattern was all over, that it was not directional, because I feel that whenever I flip it over, the other side items would be upside down. So I did make sure that I had it so that it was not directional. Okay, so here we go with all the scoring. I have mine already scored, and let me go through them with you. So first of all, here we have the 8.5 inch. Let me bring it down so you can see. That is in your scoring tool or your paper trimmer. And 2 scores is all you need here. So across the short edge, you're going to score at 2.5 and at 6 inches. Just those 2. Now, whenever you flip it, and now you have the 12-inch side in your scoring tool, you're going to score. There's multiple ones here, so I don't know if you want to write this down or wait to see it on my blog, but you have 1.25, 2.5, 5 inches, 7 inches, 9.5, and 10.75. All right. So like I said, I will have these all written down on my blog, lindaloucreates.com. So now that this has all been scored, I like to sort of fold it so that I have an idea as to where things are. Sometimes I lose sight of the score lines whenever I have to cut. So notice I'm not really getting and burnishing. I'm just trying to at least kind of be able to see where I'm at. So I like to kind of fold it a little bit. And okay. And then one more. Now, obviously, both sides will show. I will let you know as far as how to have it for what you want it, which side you want on the outside to show. Bear with me. I'm trying to explain. I don't think I'm doing very good. So first thing is first, I'm going to get my scissors. I could not find my snip, so I'm just grabbing these. You'll see here there's where the 2.5 line goes, and this one here also. So right here, you're gonna see there's 2 score lines here, and then the first score line here. So I'm gonna go to the second score line and only cut up to that first score line there. All right, so essentially this square that you're cutting out is 2.5 by 2.5. All right, and we're going to do that on all 4 corners. Okay, so I am cutting 1, 2, and then I'm coming up and cutting this out. Now I'm going to come down to this end. I'm going to go to the 1, 2 score line here. Sometimes it's hard to explain where to cut without actually seeing it. So I'm hoping that you're able to see where I'm cutting. So I'm cutting up 2 score lines and then cutting this one out. Okay, I didn't do very good there. Let me just snip that a smidge. Okay, now, so this is what you're gonna get. All right. So you have these squares, these 4 squares that you have cut out of each corner. Okay, now here is where you're going to decide which side do you want on the outside to be. What you see here are the pine cones. I am going to go that I want this to be what crisscrosses here on the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over. Now, here's where I might even do a little bit more on my folding. Here and here. Because, so this is the pattern that's going to be on the inside. All right, I have the pattern that I want on the outside underneath. So what I'm going to do is take these corners and I'm going to just fold it, make like a triangular fold, I guess, up to that score line. There is a score line right here. And I'm just going to now use, with my fingers, I'll come back, but I'm just folding this corner in and this corner to that score line. Flipping it over, same thing here, this corner, so that this edge is going to go along this score line. Okay. Once you can see it, and then the same thing over here. So up to the score line. So this actually is relatively easy once you get all those score line dimensions and everything like that. So now is when I'm going to come back and begin to burnish some of my score lines there. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to bring these together now, and now I'm going to burnish my score line, my fold right here. Okay, so these are together. Let me show you something here now. I'm going to flip it back over. Here is, now, do you see how we've kind of made our little pocket? I have folded it along this one score line. Skip a score line, come to the, or no, I don't skip the score line, sorry. and then I fold it again. All right, so I have these 2 score lines that I have folded on, and you can see where the little pocket is going to be that I am going to be able to slip my note card. I'm going to be able to slip my tea bag in there. Yeah. All right, so we have one more score line here to work on, and that's just this little flap to fold down. Okay, so my thing with, whoops, see, I folded it in the wrong direction. So what do? You just flip it over. So there really isn't like a, oh no, I'm gonna do that wrong way of doing it, all right? So here is where, now I like to line up now the top of mine. This is what I'm going to do is, I grabbed myself a paper clip just to help me hold that in place. Make sure it's nice and straight, because I want to angle cut here. So from the bottom, I'm just gonna take a little snippet and do the same thing on this side. And just a little snippet. I'm eyeballing. You know, if you want to measure, you certainly can. But now it's starting to look like my treat bag here. All right, so next is punching some holes. And again, all I'm using is just from your office supply store, just your basic hole punch. I actually make sure that the paper clip is, well, I don't make sure, I eyeball it to put it in the center. And then this is sort of my guide on where to punch my holes for my ribbon. So I will just come ahead there, and again, I'm eyeballing it, but because I had that paper clip, just I'm able to really, you know, not do too bad, if I may say so myself. Now, obviously, before I get going on the ribbon, I want to get my cookie ready to go in there. So, I have been quite lazy this Christmas and have not made my usual tray and assortment of cookies. I usually use them as gifts for people, and I just have not done it this year. So, yes, I'm cheating, and I stole one of my sons for his lunch, his Chips Ahoy. So this actually is a pretty good fit. It fits in this package perfectly. So I wanted to have it in a bag. So I actually just went out and I have one of these baggies, a sandwich bag, the kind that you then, you know, insert and then flip over the flap, flip the flap. Anyway, I don't want this flap. I don't want that fold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut it. All right. And that way I will have then my bag. All right, without the flap. I am going to trim the top of my bag, but in a moment, So let's go ahead, get this put in. And I like these because whenever I kind of bunch it up like this, it doesn't, you know, it goes the way you want it to go. So, all right, so let's take off the paper clip. Let's get this inserted. I did not put any adhesive here to hold the cookie in place. I am just going to use my ribbon to help me hold the cookie in place. So my ribbon is the double-stitched satin ribbon, and I am using it real red. I am just cutting off a chunk right now so that I can now feed this through. Because I have this twisted here, the baggie twisted, I should be able to get this ribbon fed through without any problem. Notice I said should, so we'll see if I will. So you can always play with it later, right? So let me get it through this side now. I just like to make sure it's straight in the back. And then I'm going to go ahead and just tie a bow. And this is going to help to hold my cookie in place then, because the bag itself is kind of sandwiched in there. So, all right, let me putz a little bit here with the bow, just a little bit. As I am putzing so much, I'm losing my bow. Okay, good enough right now. You don't have to see me mess with the bow. I'm just going to trim the tails now to where I want them to be. And there we go. I have, the back of it is where I put the tea bag. All right. And the front now, like I said, you could add another tea bag if you wanted to, but I'm going to make a little card to put in there. So let me set that off. Oh, let me do one more thing. If you want to leave it long like that, you can. I kind of wanted it a little bit shorter. All right, so this is all I did. What was that? All right, it still kind of sits out there and kind of looks fun. So, all right, let me go ahead now and get the card going here. So I have a piece that is, this is the Thick Whisper White, and it is 6 inches by 3, and I have it scored right in the middle at 3 inches. So here again, I'm gonna just kind of fold it so I know where it is. And let me get, I don't have a piece handy, so let me use ones that I have. This is obviously well loved. When I did some other, I am going to do some stamping, and I just don't want it to go onto the back. I like starting with, if I'm doing a single layer card like this, I like to have it flat and not folded, because, you know, whenever you have a card folded, it doesn't, unless you put a little adhesive in to help it stay actually closed to be able to stamp. I like it, I just like to have it open, okay? So that's why I'm doing that, and I want to protect the other side. All right, so I have some stamps, like I said, from the Christmas season stamp set and from Words of Cheer. So this one I did the pine cone and the pine needles. This time I'm going to, though, do the holly. So let's get to doing that. I have Evening Evergreen, and I have a bloody mess all over my desk. There we go. So, all right, so the Evening Evergreen, I am going to, whoops, let me do it this way. Sorry about that. I want it so that the berries, so let me close the ink pad. Now for the berries, let me show you something here in this stamp set. These berries, these 4 berries, go with this stem. All right, it's like a 2-stepper there. Now I only want 3 of the berries to put on my holly leaves. So what I'm going to do is, usually I often do surgery on my stamps and I would cut it, but because it is a 2-step stamp, I just didn't want to do that. I felt like I needed to kind of leave it intact. So instead, what I'm going to do is, I just have, this is just Post-it tape, And I'm just going to cover up the berry that I don't want to use. Okay, let me ink that up. Just with real red. And from experience, remember to take your tape off. Otherwise, you'll get that ink on your project. And yes, I have done that where I did not take off the tape. So there, I only have 3 berries now and no smudge from my tape. And now the sentiment, this is the ones from the Words of Cheer that I'm going to use. And I am using Pear Pizzazz for this one. All of these colors are part, or else look really good with that designer series paper. So wishing you a joyful Christmas. And if I bump the camera, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to get my head in here. And there we go. So now I can take this off and see the back side of my card is nice and clean. And now I can fold it. So let me find my bone folder and let's put a few little gems, these wonderful gems in here. So I think I'm going to go with the clear ones since I already have red going on here with my berries. So let's go ahead and just, I guess it would help if I actually got it on. So there's one. I like to do 3 of them this time. So I know I don't always, but this time I will. And 3 right there. All right, so now let's get our little card inside our holder. Like I said, whenever I place my next order, I will get my envelopes and then it will be more like a card is supposed to be, right? Having its envelope. So, all right, so 2 different looks, the same paper, just the double-sided paper. Let me slip the card in here, and you don't even have to put it in both. You could just slip it this way so that you can have the card really showing off nicely. Let's do that. Slip it like that. What do you think? All right. So we have our tea bags and we have our cookies. I mean, who would not love to receive that? So check out my blog. I will be posting then pictures of the completed projects along with all the measurements and then the score lines and everything for you. So, hey, thanks so much, guys, for coming. I just wanted to give you a quick heads up. I am attempting to do some organization, and I have the biggest pile of retired stamp sets imaginable. If there are any stamp sets that you would like that are retired, send me private message me, send me an email, lindalou.createscards@gmail.com. I am offering to mail them to you for the whopping price of $9 to help cover the postage. It will go into a padded priority envelope, and it fits about 6 or 7 of the stamp sets will fit inside one of those envelopes. I am not going to break up bundles with the dies, so if you want a stamp set, you will also get the dies that coordinate with it if I have them. At this time, I am not selling my punches. So those are not going to be an option. The stamp set that though coordinates with the punch will be available for you if you want. So for $9, 7 stamp sets. I mean, what a deal. So please message me, leave me a note here, a comment, get a hold of me, please. I want to get rid of my stamps. So this is the way I thought I would do it in the season of giving, and I want others to enjoy the stamp sets that I've used. So after all of that chatter, I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, and I hope you have a great week too. Good night, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye now.